Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with my good friend here. Migud, habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu, hali
Mm,
iko poa. Upande wangu
mm,
nashukuru Mola.
mhm,
Iwapo tunasukuma gurudumu hapa na pale,
mm.
tukitafuta riziki.
Okay, asante sana. Siku yako imekuwa vipi?
Siku yangu naweza sema tu nashukuru Mola juu ameniwezesha nikarudi nyumbani vyema vile nitoka
Mhm,
asubuhi.
mhm,
Siku yangu imekuwa na maneno mengi, nimekuwa hapa na pale nikitafuta riziki vile nikwambia, na pia nikishughulikia watu hapa na pale, na vile vile nasema tu nimeshinda poa, ni tu hali ya kawaida. Unaelewa, mimi kama leo hii ni siku yangu ya Sabato, na
mm,
pia ni harakati ya
mm,
kuasha in Sabath, pia kurudishia Mungu shukrani, na vile vile pia kana shukrani. Unajua,
mm.
wakati wa Sabato hivi ndio sisi tunaamini ya kwamba ni siku ya unapata baraka kutoka katika Mola, na pia tunategemea baraka zake siku hii,
Yeah.
na mambo iko tu sawa. Nashukuru tu Mola kwa hayo yote.
Asante sana Miguda kwa hayo yote, na pia vile vile kusema kwamba ni siku ambayo labda mnakaribisha Sabath, na ni jambo ambalo labda jambo ambalo umekuwa ukifanya kwa muda mrefu, ama umekulia, naweza sema kuwa umeelewa kwamba hiyo ndio taratibu ya wewe, ama utaratibu wako wewe binafsi. Thank you so much Miguda. Miguda, kuna jambo lazima hapa tuzungumzie, kwa sababu naona kwamba saa zingine tunaipuzilia, lakini mimi leo imenishangaza sana, ama imenistua, na sijui kama serikali wanaitilia, ama serikali wanaona mambo kama haya ikitendeka, na ni kama labda wamefanya hata uchunguzi kujua. Unajua hii maneno ya Wakenya wengi kuenda Urusi, sana sana mavijana wa kiume ambao labda katika tuweze sema katika au maagent wengi ambao wanawaambia labda tuwapatia kazi, sana sana vijana wanaume ambao wanaenda. Mimi leo nimeona takriban maandishi kama matatu kwa familia tatu tofauti ambao wanahitaji usaidizi, kama kuna mtu ambaye anafahamu kama watoto wao bado wako hai, kwa sababu unaona wameweka pale picha zao wakiwa na magwanda rasmi za vita za Kirasia, na wanauliza kama kuna mtu yeyote ambaye ana habari kuhusu familia yao. Na jana pia kama sijakosea, pia kuna familia ambao walifanya ibada ya haf hafla pale ambapo walikuwa wana uh, wanaomboleza yule kijana wao ambaye aliaga tarehe 25 Disemba mwezi uliopita, na sasa mwili wake halikuletwa nyumbani. Sasa ni jambo ambalo linakera sana, kama vijana ambao labda wanaenda kutafuta riziki nchi za nje, lakini kwa bahati mbaya wanajipata wako katika vitani. Sijui kama serikali wanachunguza maneno hili, ama hao pia tu wanaiangalia tu. Pili, pia nataka pia uzungumzie hali ya ajira, kwa sababu ukipata vijana wanatoroka nchi yao na kuenda na wakaingia katika mazingira kama haya, inamaanisha kwamba ajira huku nyumbani ni duni zaidi. Tutaisuluhisha aje mambo ya ajira? Labda wewe tu kama unaweza tilia maneno.
Asante sana kakangu. Kwanza kabisa, sisi kama wananchi na sisi sote tuko na
Mm,
changamoto pakubwa kutoka na ajira, na kila serikali imekuwepo katika mamlakani
mm,
haijawahi suluhisha mambo na ajira kwa jumla. Kila
mm,
wakati tukifanya kampeni zetu, kila wakati serikali inaundwa, hizo ni moja za sera wale wanasiasa wanauzia wananchi. lakini
mm,
hakuna siku ambayo tunakubaliana kwamba sasa serikali hii sisi
mm,
sote tumeajiriwa na kila mtu ameridhika na yale serikali inayofanya. Hapo
mm,
lazima tukubaliane.
mm,
Hakuna siku ambayo tutasema kwa leo hii tumesuluhisha hii mambo ya ajira.
mm,
Lakini ukitaka kutazama Kenya,
mm,
Kenya ni nchi ambaye tuko na uwezo, tuko na nia na pia tumebarikiwa na kila kitu. Tuko na ardhi, tuko na maji,
mm,
tuko na hata watu wenye wako na akili na watu
mm,
wamesoma.
mm,
Lakini shida inatokea kwamba tuko na hii kitu inaitwa ufisadi.
mm,
Ufisadi imelemea Wakenya.
mm,
Ufisadi katika serikali kuu, katika
mm,
serikali ya ugatuzi, kuna ufisadi na ufisadi ijaanza na William Ruto.
mm.
Ufisadi imekuwepo hapo awali wakati serikali zote
Anaiendeleza
zimekuwa
tu.
hiyo ni jambo anaiendeleza. Sasa
Mm,
wakati kila mtu ye kazi yake ni kupora nchi, kazi
mm,
yao ni kupora kila mahali, hakuna mtu anaweza kaa chini afikiria kwamba tusuluhishe mambo ya ajira. Sasa unapata si makosa yetu, si kama wavulana, si kama vijana, ni
mm,
harakati ya nchi ya kwamba umesoma vizuri, uko
mm,
na makaratasi zako, lakini una nafasi nzuri ya kufanya hayo umesomea katika nchi yako. Unafanya nini?
mm,
Unaweza enda utoke uende huko ng'ambo ujisaidie, pengine huko ng'ambo ndio kuna nafasi, pengine huko ng'ambo kuna tumaini. Sasa unapata wale wenzetu ambao wanajifanya kama agent wanachukua fursa huo kuhakikisha kwamba wamefanya ukora. Juu unapata watu wanawaamini sana. Sasa wakiwaamini na vile vile kuna matumaini huko ng'ambo. Unajua yule mtu ako na matumaini ukimuzia ya kwamba wanasemaga ya kwamba youths are
mm,
quick to hope. So
mm,
ukimwambia kwamba kuna mambo mazuri huku, atakubaliana kwa haraka, na vile vile ako na ile harakati, anataka aowe, pengine anataka anunue shamba, anataka anunue gari, anataka jenge, ako na ile pressure nyingi sana. Sasa
mm,
they taking advantage of that situation, alafu wanafanyia watu mabaya. Na pengine pia mimi niko na yule kakangu, niseme yule mtoto wa shangazi yangu
mm,
moja, alienda huko Urusi na alienda
mm,
huko kwa mambo na masomo. Sasa
mm,
hivi mambo na masomo, alitoka akaenda katika embassy ya Kenya, ako huko hajafanya kazi, muda unaenda. Na vile vile si ati shangazi yangu si mtu ambaye angeweza kumsomesha hapa, ama
mm,
si mtu mwenye angeweza kumnunulia kazi, lakini sasa
mm,
ile harakati ya ile imekwambia harakati ya matumaini, wanauzia matumaini, lakini mwishowe tunapata ya kwamba haya maneno ziko na changamoto pakubwa sana kwa vijana.
mm,
Sasa mpaka tuelewe kwamba haswa
mhm,
tatizo tunayo kama wananchi ya kwamba hakuna ajira kwa vijana, na pia tuko na ufisadi, na vile vile kuna matumaini ukienda ng'ambo, lakini hii matumaini pia kuna wenye sasa wanachukua advantage of the situation
mhm,
kuhakikisha kwamba wamefanyia mabaya hawa Wakenya wenzangu.
mm. Okay, unajua, labda wangekuwa wakweli wakati ambapo labda anakutayarishia ama anatumia kama aje, anataka wewe pia uende utafute ajira nje ya nchi. Inafaa kuwe msemo kweli na kuambia bana, we hii ndio kazi ambayo labda ukifika huko utaenda kufanya. Ila kukuambia kwamba wewe utakuwa unaenda kukuwa dereva ama wewe utakuwa unaenda kufanya kwa supermarket ama wewe utaenda kufanya wapi, lakini ukifika, kulingana na story ambayo nilisikia ya yule kijana, anasema yeye alifika pale baadaye wakaenda tu wakapelekwa kambini na wakapatiwa training for few weeks, alafu hao wakaambia waingie vitani. Na wazazi wanakuja wanashangaa kwamba ukisikia kwamba mtoto wangu alikuwa ameenda aliitwa ama alienda kufanya kazi kama hichi, lakini kitu ambacho sasa tunapata ni kwamba ako vitani, ambapo pia inauma. Lakini pia kitu pia lazima pia tukubaliane, kwa sababu ukiingia katika baadhi ya hizi boma zetu ama wazazi wetu ama Wakenya wengi wanaishi maisha ya uchochole. Nilikuwa nasikiza vizuri Raphael Tuju akaongea juu ya takwimu sana sana kwa wale ambao wamemaliza shule, na akasema kwamba kuna takwimu inaonyesha kuwa kuna wale ambao wamemaliza shule na wako na shahada, inaonyesha kwamba katika maisha yao watawacha hii dunia kabla hawajaajiriwa, na ni wengi zaidi, kwa sababu unapata kwamba hatuna mfumo wa kuajiri ama hakuna mfumo ya kutengeneza ajira. Na vile anasema kwamba wakati ambapo hao wenyewe walikuwa wanasoma ama wakati ambao walikuwa shule, wakati walitainiwa na kawamaliza shule, walikuwa wanamaliza. Kama we ni mwalimu, unatoka unapata kazi. Kama we ni mtu ambaye amesomea ama tuseme kama sheria, unatoka unaajiriwa. Unaona, na unapata kwamba ni tofauti na leo, kwa sababu tunaweza sema kwamba leo kuna tuseme kwamba idadi ya watu imekuwa wengi, na vile pia masomo pia, kimasomo pia watu wamesoma, wako na maarifa kuliko hizo enzi. Lakini pale shida iko ni kwamba serikali zote ambazo zimekuwepo hazijakuwa na mkakati vizuri ama hawajakuwa na mtiririko vizuri kuangalia jinsi ajira inaweza tengenezwa ama ajira inaweza patiwa kwa Kenya. Kwa mfano tu, mimi nataka kupatia mfano. Kwa saizi naona kwamba rais anatembea sana katika hizi makaunti zetu na Nyota Fund. Na ukiangalia Nyota Fund, si Kenya tu ndio walipatiwa pesa hili na World Bank. Nchi kama Benin, jana nilikuambia, pia walipatiwa hili pesa ili kuwezesha mavijana. Lakini chukua mfano kutoka Benin, jinsi ule rais wa Benin anaitumia ile pesa. Hakuna siku huyo rais wa Benin labda ametoka akaenda akakutana na mavijana, kwa sababu unaiangalia kwa njia pana. Rais alikuwa Kisumu, akaenda akakuja kwa Kilifi. Kumbuka, you need to have security of the presidency, and there must be that the security apparatus that will go prior before the president to make sure that the president is safe. Then they are going, and look at the president is having whole executive are with him. These people who are with the president, remember, they have cars. There must be allowance. They're sleeping somewhere, and people are getting the first batch. You are getting like 22,000. Yeah, 22,000. That is the first batch. And I want to give you a brief calculation, so you can weigh for me whether this is empowerment or an enticement. Let's say, for example, it was 1,700 participants who got this. They are from Siaya. So approximately, because it was doing the Luo Nation, let's give it that higher figure. So let's say that each and every county was giving 18. Yeah. How many counties? How many we have? Kisumu, Homa Bay, Siaya, and Migori. So if we do times 4, so which means that day a total of 7,200, yeah, youths got the Nyota Fund. They got the 22,000 because it's supposed to be 25. Then this one goes a pay as you want. So this one, if you multiply by 22,000, it gives you 158,400,000. That was the money that was dispatched that day in Kisumu. That went to all these youths. Now, if you compare this with the 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 expense that come with the presidency. Mm? Kwa sababu rais atakuja, atakuwa anatumia ndege, kuna wale walinzi, kuna wale walishakuja au maviongozi pia kuna nini. Utapata kwamba hili pesa matumizi ya siku hiyo peke yake itakuwa inazidi pesa ambayo yenye imepatiwa mavijana. Hapo ndio sasa upige hesabu. Hey, good year. Hope you're doing good. And I'm also seeing we are with Paulo too with us. Miguda, what do you say? Hello, Miguda.
Yeah, what I want to say concerning Nyota Fund. First, when there is a distribution of Nyota funds amongst the youths of Kenyan people, it has been now turned to be a presidential campaign that it is Mr. William Ruto who is dispersing this money to the youths. But in the real sense, the Nyota money has come from the World Bank. It should be just channeled to Treasury, then channeled to other departments to reach youthful people. People can just organize, then you receive your money in your county. But what we are seeing, President must come in present to disperse this money amongst youth and take credit that it is him who is actually distributing the money. And if you look at the people who have been programmed before in the podium, most of them praise him that because of Nyota Fund, he is a two-term president. I want to disagree with those people. They will argue that he's the head of state, he has a duty. All sorts of manner they will argue and they respond to you. But it's very clear that it is not president's money. It is not our taxes. It has come from one bank. So it should be distributed in a manner that, and I like the people who are always in the Bunga ya Wananchi, some of them. Whenever you go to Bunga ya Wananchi to claim that you have constructed a market, they will tell you this is a World Bank project. Whenever you go and claim that you have constructed a road, they tell you this is a World Bank project. So there is no one who has got credit over World Bank. They not distinct that this market is for World Bank, this Barabar is for World Bank, this way bridge is for World Bank, and so on and so forth. But you understand right now, we know this money. The money which was given to people by Kindiki during the by-elections came from Ruto.
Yeah.
The money that were being dispersed by Ruto all over the country came from our taxes. The money right now, Nyota Fund, has come from the World Bank. So you should distinct, not give credit to person. And also, you have talked about the issue of Benin doing it in a silent way, whereby no one is even noticing.
Yep.
But us now, we want to use it as a tool of campaign. So there's a quite different issue here that we have to agree for us to empower youths. And like me, I'm in Kenya, and I'm subscribing to Kenyan services. Whenever we meet as young tax, we understand that even if you give me 20 Ks today, 22 Ks, it's not that much that can actually. People are saying they will have. People are saying that give them time, they love mansions. That's a lie. That's a lie. We people have had those 22,000s before. You cannot generate it. They are saying they will sell chicken. Who told you that the only business he was doing by that time was only selling chicken? Chicken was just a supplement, but the real issue also was there. Some people can lie to you that I made it only through chicken, through charcoal. It was chicken plus other things. Those other things are not mentioned. Those other things are not mentioned. So I just want to, when we were discussing those issues, we were saying that we are better off because some people are saying that 22K is enough for them to it's enough for them to start a life. It's enough for them to start a life and prosper. Then we were saying, okay, then we are better off because if you give me 22K today, according to me, it cannot transform my life. Though other people are saying it can transform, I don't know how they can do it. but it depends on the brain of somebody. So I can just say that is, in my view, it is not it is not a favor. They
Mhm.
are using the image of the presidency to entice young people, the so-called Gen Z, quote unquote, for
Mhm.
them to subscribe to the current regime Seras, and also they are using that advantage to tame or calm down the young people from airing their grievances.
Let me take Nasaha. Welcome to BBM. This is if you're new here, you can also subscribe so that when we have such like conversation, the YouTube will notify you. Let me read. Nyota Fund is a total circus and enticement. Thank you for that. Why does Ruto use anxiety terms all time he launches a project? 100 funds, new Nyota funds. That's what I was asking. Is it empowerment or an enticement? Because look at the cost of living. And let's take, for instance, somebody who lives in Nairobi, because we've seen even the young people, especially who are doing business. And if you have like 22,000, that one will define where you are going to live, especially, you know, you know, and the taxes that you are paying. We are not saying that is a bad idea, but the process by which it is being done, it doesn't add value, because it seems that it's becoming a campaign tool, like because like everybody is attending this, and if you are very keen enough, also you can see mobilization around it, and as you say that the people who are going to speak there are pre-qualified. You have to go like simple orientation, because you cannot just come, and and just decide, okay, I'm going to speak. You have to be identified prior, before going in the podium, and even to come and praise the president. But at the end of the day, um, it boils down to you. President is doing his term. Once he's done, he wants what he wants to get what he wants. Then it ends. But if you look at it critically, is that like these are funds that we will be paying back. The country will be paying back because they are not grants. Yeah, these were not grants. It's something that you are going to pay back. So that is something that you also, as you enjoy Nyota Fund, know that, or as you are not qualified, know that when it comes to payment to the World Bank, you will be paying back with your taxes. Thank you so much. Miguda, I also listened to Tuju. Tuju was in Moranga today. I hope so. I think so. Where the mother of Jamlek was being laid down to rest. And so Tuju said something about, he said that where the problem for this country is, or where the problem usually starts, the problem usually starts with the church, especially with the politicians, because the church usually gathers. People always come to church. And he also talked about the politicians uh, changing stance. Like today you are here in the political party. He spoke about the political violence that he witnessed himself, especially in Rarieda, when he was a member of parliament. And he said that he was the only one who was supporting Kibaki, and that one costed him a lot. And he said one of his brothers lost the hands just because Rafael Tojo was supporting President Kibaki. It took almost from 2018, is it from 2007, when he started to work with Kibaki, to the time there was a handshake between Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. That is when the mother of Rafael Tojo could go to market. It means that they did not have that freedom because they were being deemed to be the wasaliti of the community. And he said something that the problems that the Mount Kenya people are having, especially the bulge of the youths who do not have employment. That is not only the problem in Mount Kenya, but it is a problem everywhere. So when you look at the churches and the politicians with what the Raphael Tuju was saying, do you think that as a country or as the young people, we've reached a point whereby the young people have reached a point whereby they can make good decisions based on the realities? Because what we are suffering is not lack of leadership, but we are just talking about inadequacy. Inadequate. We have inadequate leadership problem.
Okay, what I want to say, based on the reality, people can be viewed to be young, people can be viewed to be inexperienced, people can be viewed to be poor,
Mm,
but all in all, the young people, through struggling and life lessons, they have learned hard way. We have
mm,
lived in a society whereby we have learned by ourselves. We were led to grow. We grew by ourselves. We studied by ourselves. We are here by ourselves. No job,
mm,
no good life. What do you do? Through experience, already you are somewhere. Therefore, I cannot rule out that young people should be exempted because
mm,
of their age.
mhm,
Age is just but a number. But you can be 20, 18, but you have the mind of 40 or the mind of Mr. President. You can be 30, but you will think better than president. The fact that someone is a president doesn't qualify him or her to be the super experienced human being on earth. Someone can be just 30, mere 30, but he has gone through a lot.
mhm,
He has gone through a lot, and also he has a lot of experience. He's rich in experience, so that to an extent that when given opportunity, he can serve. You have seen countries whereby young people have led, and you have seen countries whereby people like Jeff, people you saw people like Jeff Kennedy, they were very young.
mhm.
People like Tom Mboya were very young, but
Yeah.
at that age, Tom Mboya was able to do mysterious things globally. At that time, Jeff Kennedy was able to beat older people into the presidential election of America. Young
Mhm,
people have done marvelous in this world. Remember, Gaddafi became the president at the age of 28. So you
mhm,
cannot dismiss or outrule young people that because of their age, don't have a say or a stand in the society. But most importantly, to answer your questions correctly, is that the reality the young people are faced, they are man enough, they are man up enough to
mhm.
to carry the mantle. The reality has hit them because they are the people actually passing through those realities. So I think the young people should not be dismissed because of the age difference.
But do you think there will be very distinct features that will be driving young people to the ballot, that this is what is driving me to the ballot, especially not because this is my party, or not because this is somebody from my region, or not because this person gave me this amount of shillings, but looking for a leadership that will always um, solve the issues that are facing the country. Do you think do we think we've gotten that good percentage of not even young people, that everybody who is eligible, or who has the threshold to vote and has that voting card, do you think they have something that driving them to the ballot box, which is of which describes good leadership, or is still going to be driven by emotions?
If it driven by emotions, then they are insane. What I
Mhm,
understand is that right now, the young people must be driven by good governance. they must be going to ballot to establish good governance. That one a must. So when we are going to ballot, we must vote good governance.
Mm.
Anything contrary to good governance, we are not going to mark.
Yeah.
They should only mark good governance. From MCA to
Mm.
the president, just mark this issue of pre that they are going to steal elections or yeah, it has been rigged. These are just mentality. They're just
Mm.
mental to scare
Mm.
you away to go to scare you away not to participate
To
in your
participate.
democratic to participate in your democratic right because they're scaring away. Oh, Ruta shaiba kura, hakuna haja kupiga kura. Those are just mental. Like you are
Mm.
going for a football match, you are being told today we are going to bench Bruno, then you find Bruno playing number 8. So those are just mental. Young people should just come out in large and vote good governance. That's all.
All
Good
right. Thank you.
governance should drive them to the polling station.
Okay, hopefully they will recognize that. I want you to say to maybe to give your opinion on this about what we call the manipulation of those in the lower cadre, especially uh, uh, by political leaders, and to bargain for they are bargaining for their dignity. For instance, right now, if you're very keen, you see what is happening is the way in which the money is flouted. And today, the Sala or Kech Sala was able to host almost quite a number of youth, especially from Nairobi, both the UDA youth and ODM youth at KICC. And one of the things that played around was maybe it was food, something like they're going to be given food, and also some money might have also exchanged hands, and they're going there in large number. And this one is telling me that they are going to base their informed decision based on what has happened because you've hosted us. This could be a way in which I'm going to vote a particular way, because I'm at the lower cadre, I'm a lower cadre, I do not have enough money, and this guy has the money and is giving us. So this is what is going to inform my decision towards voting. Not because I cannot make my own decision, but because it has been given some money.
That's a conversation going on the ground, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a reality. People are saying that all these politicians are con.
Mm,
People are saying that all these politicians are the same.
mm,
People are saying that no politician is a saint, and people are
mm,
saying no, none of them is qualified to be a leader. So,
mm.
what are they going to do? People are saying if they get an opportunity to be in office, they only
Yeah.
steal from public, they are
Mm,
corrupt, and they
mm,
are only eating with their own relatives and families. And even if there
mm,
is any opportunity for someone to be employed, they'll always
mm,
refer to their enemies, their relatives, and their friends.
yeah.
When we were young, there were some books we were reading. When I think the betrayal in the city, there was a time someone was saying, "How can you be employed? How can you get a job? You can only be employed or get a job if only you got a tall relative."
Mm,
Today it has come to reality in real life that actually there isn't employment unless you got tall relative. There are people who have just concluded their form 4 previously, and right now they have been employed into civil servant and they are
mm,
earning salaries. But there are better people who have done exemplary well into their tertiary level, but
yeah.
up to right now, they are on their own. They haven't been employed because
Mm.
those people do not have tall relatives. So I'm trying to argue my point that
Okay. You can fix
the
your
people
internet.
in the lower cadre,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they only believe that once a politician has given them, they are very much persuaded that once a politician or a leader has given them handout,
Yeah.
that he has he has handed we are done with him because we are not going to see him for the next 5 years. So it's better you give us hours for now,
Yeah.
then we will not come to your home, will not bother, even if you're not working for us,
Mm,
but you have given me my. I know the amount they are being given. They're being given 1Ks, they're
mm,
being given 500, 300, two
mm,
hundred, even some 50 bob. Some are saying because I ate your 50 bob, therefore I'm gonna vote for you because you are done with me. You have
mm,
done with me, you are giving me feedback, but there's nobody, no one has given me anything. I cannot vote for you. That's why most of these politicians or the so-called leaders, they usually try so as that at least their money get into the electorates, even if it's a 50 bob. Because electorates sometimes argue that, okay, because you gave me 1K, I'll vote for you. So
yeah.
that your question is a norm, and
Mm,
that's why you would see some legislatures who are very weak, who are not performing, but they'll go back to parliament because of their money. And they usually boast in parliament that I'm here because of my money. It is my money which has brought me to parliament, not voters, not policies, not working. I'm here because of my money. I'm in this August house because of my money. So that is a very good question, and it's a real question in action happening.
mm,
Even right now, when we were talking with my fellas, some were saying round hii namalizana na mwanasiasa sasa hivi kabla ya siasa. Akinipatia yangu hata kakakei ni kule nampatia kura, lakini yule mtu hajanipatia hata kitu simpigie
mm.
kura. Juu tukishawapigia kura, we
Mm.
are not going to see them for the next 5 years. So I think that's a very, very, very good question, and it's a
Mhm.
real question on the ground. It's happening.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that. And there's quite much that is happening on the political landscape today, and there's something here which is quite much interesting that's being told by the World Bank has already organized the second phase of a big loan to Kenya. Why, when we have not paid the first loan? Could this be one of the reasons why Ruto's projects are popping up? Maybe, you never know. And right now, you're being told that if you are earning less than 30, you're earning 30,000 or 30,000 out of unalipa ushuru. And for how long? And what has necessitated that? Because like when in any country, when you're taking such measures, especially like paying off the taxes, there could be a reason that you are, or there must be a data that you're using, and that tells you right now we are at um stable economy, and we feel like those who are earning less than 30, or those who are earning 30, they should not pay uh, uh taxes, and for how long. Yeah. So there's so many things that sometimes we don't understand, especially when it comes to issues to do with taxes. Because I know, for instance, for instance, there's I don't know whether somebody who is in US can assist us understand this. Right now, people are filing their taxes, especially if you're in US. But there's what we call the overtime. There was a temporary bill that was brought by Trump, so that the overtime is not supposed to be taxed. And now, when you file your taxes, you have to claim it, but you don't claim all of it, but you claim the premium. So if you go to your tax professional, they will advise you on how to do it. But there must be something that has really informed in that decision to come up with that. We've seen cases whereby we expand the tax bracket, you know. You expand the tax bracket and you say this one, the people who are earning this, between this and this, will be paying 5% of that, you know. Not that you don't pay, only those who don't earn, you know. So because that is the only way that the government raises revenue. And something also that could have made us feel like things are going okay, you could have seen at something like educational sector, things are working. You could have seen as health sectors, things are working. There's something here, Miguda, that sometimes we do not understand. Health sector is one of those sectors that is so much complex that um, even I think those who have been given an opportunity to serve in the government are missing it out. People only talk about SHA, that you have to register for SHA. There's registration, yes, and there's a facilitation of that registration, because you have to look at how many people have registered, because I know that now you cannot register without paying for 6 months. Yeah. Hmm? Yeah. You know,
Right now, 1 year. Right now, 1 year. You can't register
one
without
year.
paying 1 year.
So 1 year, you register and pay 1 year. Remember, and what about the other year? You know, so look at that. We are talking about SHA. Now we have to come to the medication. Sometimes we have to come to prescription, because, like, you know, that there's some prescription. I would say the prescription medication that sometimes their prices has to be controlled, because, like, if you just leave it open like that, it will skyrocket and nobody would be able to purchase for those medications. So those are just a few areas that we want to touch. Miguda, let's weigh our thoughts, especially on the zoning of ODM and UDA, because these are some of the issues that are in the public domain and people are talking about it. ODM, especially when you listen to Opondo Kaluma, is rooting for zoning, especially to areas where ODM has a strong base. UDA should not field candidates. Also, with UDA, where the UDA has a strong basis, ODM should not fill in candidates. But I was trying to look at it, give it another angle, especially if President William Ruto and UDA will agree with that, and Opondo Kaluma and the ODM are still coming with the picture of ODM bases when Raila was still alive, that they still, maybe they still think they they still have those bases. Now, for instance, we'll talk about the Luo, the Nyanza, including the Kisi, because, like, ODM was strong in Nyanza. Talk about again Western Kenya, where ODM is the majority. They are, you know, they are popular as compared to other political party. Then come to the coastal areas, whereby ODM has always done well. Now, that is about 3 counties, especially, that, let's say that ODM is going to do well. Then if you come to Nairobi too, ODM has always done well as compared to other parties. So which means you're talking about Nairobi, uh, uh, um, Nairobi County, talking about Coast, talking about Western, and maybe the Luo, the Nyanza. That is 4. So these are places that maybe tend to believe that ODM is going to do well. Yeah. Then President William Ruto, we will say he will do well, especially in Rift Valley. Coming to central Kenya, whereby he has lost with a bigger margin. We saw it from the aspirants who were planning to contest 2027, the 107. So which means he doesn't have to count so much from from central, and now go to other areas. So which means at the end of the day, ODM will be tending to have so many members of parliament as compared to UDA. And this one, even if President William Ruto wins the second time, will make him a weak president, because remember, DCP and all the united opposition will be coming with their members of parliament, and it can make it very easy for them, or can make it very easy to impeach President William Ruto. So my question to you is that, do you feel the zoning is favoring President William Ruto, or is favoring ODM?
Okay, before I delve in the question of zoning,
Mm-hmm.
if President William Ruto must be impeached in Parliament after
Mm.
elections,
Mm.
people have opportunity right now to impeach him at the ballot during elections. That's the best place to impeach him. Don't need to wait for after elections, because
Mm.
he will buy all MPs the way he did when he became the president. He bought
Mm.
those MPs from UDM, so-called the party from Wajir. So I
Mm.
don't think is the best place, and the best place to impeach him is
Mhm.
the at the polling station during
Yeah.
elections. The
Mm.
issue of
Mhm.
zoning to my view favors ODM, doesn't
Mm.
favor William Root. That's why
Mm.
William Root is silent. When it comes to the issue of zoning, the
Yeah.
UDA is silent. They are
Mm.
very silent, and they've decided to put all the aspirants of UDA in ODM strongholds. So they have remained silent. The issue of zoning, it's only ODM who are talking about zoning because with zoning, it's gonna give ODM more members of parliament. With zoning, it's gonna give ODM aspirants easy way to go back to parliament rather
mm,
than having a vigorous contest with the UDA opponent. That's
mm,
why it's very in UDA camp zoning is silent. So
mm,
I think it favors the zoning favors ODM. But President Ruto has done one thing also here.
mm,
Ruto has decided to deal with the people and he has shifted gears away from leaders in the ODM.
yeah.
Initially, he used to engage people like Oburu
Mm,
and the Waka.
mhm,
But of late, he's going to the people. This thing called Nyota. He is using it to get to the people by giving people direct money and also identifying. Remember, let me tell you one thing, Brother Benson. That's why sometimes I am feeling very much sad with this country.
mm,
The people who are in UDA who want to contest against the current leaders in ODM,
mm,
remember, they are former MPs in those constituencies. So
mm,
there's no new person here. They have just changed their jersey. Some people are wearing now orange, and some people are wearing yellow. What
mm,
is at stake here? For instance, if you look at those MPs who are currently in UDA, or if you look at those aspirants who are currently in UDA, the as- the aspirants who are currently in UDA, you
yeah.
find them that those aspirants are those aspirants who are currently in UDA.
Yeah.
Once in lifetime, they were members of ODM. They
Mm,
were members of parliament with ODM ticket. People like Eddie Kanyanga, they have
mm,
served as member of parliament for Nyatike.
yeah.
People who have served like governors Kidero in
Yeah.
Nairobi. Right
Mm,
now, they have camouflaged. And even in Awendo, Jared Kopio was a member of parliament for Awendo. And
yeah.
even Iska have contested. So either way, if a person has not been an MP before, but he
Mm,
has been contesting for the MP seat, but because ODM right now have
mm,
preferred candidates in their constituencies, the
mm,
people who are in ODM have shifted to go to wear yellow colors,
mm,
now camouflaging and pretending to be to be now new people. If
mm,
you elect a UDA member of parliament in Luo Nation,
mm,
and if you elect a UDA member of parliament in Luo Nation, you have done nothing. You have
mm,
just elected the same people, the
mm,
same person. So I think until we get all of them out of
mm.
the way, that's when we can have a fresh parliament.
All right. All right, thank you so much. As I welcome Simamo, this our friend is saying there come a time when our country is bigger than the individual interest. This is the time we have a bigger war than Mau Mau, war to liberate our country from this militia Mwizi and Muaji Kasongo. Now, so, Swali, my question to you is, how many people share that dream with you? Because um, so many times people have always say this is the time, but now when it become that to liberate people, that liberation do not occur. So maybe how many people, and how can then people spread this message so that everybody would know that we have to be in the same page and this is what we want to do. That is also, you will assist me with that. Then this Vincent also is saying that na hizo pesa anapeana kama nyota, si atumie kwa maendeleo jamani, kuliko kuuza Safaricom eti afanyie maendeleo. That is the question that we are asking. Because if you look at the Nyota Fund, Kenya is not the only country from Africa that got that money. I give a perfect example with Benin. But if you go and try to research on how the country or the nations in Africa that got the money too, the system they use on how to disburse this money is quite much different with what we were doing. Because like Kenya is always known, especially in Africa, when it comes to technology, Kenya is at its best, especially when it comes to tech. And if we could have been having government that care, I mean, like people, leaders that do who do care and that wants to minimize on the excesses and maximize on issues that are not bringing expenses to the government. I think this is the place that we could employ, or we could have used the platform whereby if we have to launch the Nyota system, you can do it once at KICC and say that this is the program that we are going to do and this is what we are going to do. And you launch it once, then the follow-up should be done by the relevant CSS or the people who in that ministry. But you see, what is happening with this is that we see a whole crew of executive, including the president, and everybody is going to that event. So the question is how it is empowering. How does it empower? Because if you look at the expenses that you've used and the logistics that is involved with what vis-a-vis what the youths are getting, and remember, you should supposed to get like 50,000, but you're not getting 50,000. You first get the first batch. So again, when are you going to get your second batch? Okay, that is my question. And maybe all right, thank you so much. Msimama habari gani?
Salama ndugu yangu, hali yako?
Hali yangu iko shwari. Labda za kwako?
Bwana, tunamshukuru Mungu tumeiona siku hii, kwa hivyo kwa neema yake hakika lakini pia kuna ndugu yangu hapa pia naye Miguda hapo. Maana itakuwa si jambo la mbolea nikisema nisimsalimia apokee zangu. Wacha tu upande wa comment section kuna Vincent, kuna Muse Maukweli sawa msema ukweli. Alafu kuna brother Good as usual apokee zangu, Paulo Kisiang apokee zangu. Kwa kweli haswa na wale wote ambao wanatufuatilia haswa upande huu wa comment section na wengine wote wanatusikiza duniani kote, asante.
Okay, asante sana ndugu yangu kwa salamu zako na pia kutujulia hali. Sisi najua pia wenzangu ambao wako katika comment section wako buheri wa afya. Sisi pia hapa tuko hatujalalamika. Sasa swali langu ni je, tunaongea hii mambo ya zoning ya ODM na UDM, na kuna wale wanaona kwamba itafaidi sana ODM na wengine pia wanasema kwamba itafaidi sana UDA. We kwa mtazamo wako, we unaona vipi?
Asante kwa swali zuri kama hili. Nyota Fund ni sawa na Haila Fund na ni Hustler Fund. Kwa hiyo ni part 2 ya Hustler Fund of which tunajua takmini ya Hustler Fund wengi walifanya ule msemo wetu ambao tunauendeleza huku kwetu kwamba kula kwa tajiri, kura kwa maskini. So atatuambia auditing ya Hustler Fund imefanya lipi tangia ifanye hivyo, na tuwe na ushahidi haswa kwa mtu ambaye ametengeza hiyo Hustler Fund 500 hiyo ndio alianza nayo, sasa hivi ana milioni. Kwa kama hajatupa hata hii ya Nyota Fund ni kule kuweza kuiongeza kidogo. Tunajua mtu akimbamba 22,000 akimweka hadi huyo mtu atakuwa na matumani kwamba hii ni bora nibaki na huyu ngojea kwa sababu nangoja afungu langu la pili. Kwa hivyo katika hiyo hali hata kuwa namfikiria mtu mwingine bali haswa mwenye huyu alompa hizi shilingi 22,000. Kwa mtazamo wangu nasema hivi, hiki ni chambo kwa hiyo chambo hiki tujue kwamba kinandoana baadaye, kwa sababu kama kweli ni kiongozi ambaye anatija katika ngazi yake ile ambayo na hadhi yake ya ile na heshima haswa ile ambayo yeye ni nembo ya taifa, basi kwanza angefanya makubwa haswa upande wa sekta ya elimu ambayo inadorora. Ni machungu, ni maumivu kwa wazazi. Mimi niko field nashuhudia hayo mambo. Ukirudi hospitalini mbaya zaidi. Na I wish brother Ben if I could have ungeniruhusu maybe hata ningepita nikafanya mambo yangu fulani huku, tukafanya interview tukaeleta hapa, nikatuma kwako kama ni kwa WhatsApp, kwa sababu majira ya asubuhi siwezi kupata, but ama mchana siwezi kupata kwa call ama kwa hiki kipindi, ili tuwe na ushahidi kamili ground iko vipi, je, hospitali zetu na masuala hayo zinaendaje, na
Mm.
swala la elimu nalo linaendaje? Basi katika huo mtawalia tungejua mbivu na mbichi, lakini
Mm.
kiukweli angewekeza hizo sehemu mbili ambazo ni za tija zaidi kuliko kuwachukua hawa vijana, badala ya kukuza vipawa wako navyo, badala ya kuhakikisha kwamba haswa anawatengezea mazingira ya kuweza pata ajira ambayo itaweza kuwasaidia for long. Leo
Mm.
anawapa tonge la mkononi. Mtu hajakuwa mwanabiashara atakwambia nilifanya biashara mimi mheshimiwa. Huna auditing kwamba una uhakika maalum kwamba akafanya ama hajafanya, ana
Mm.
uwezo ama hana uwezo. So mara hii pesa itaishia mazima na hana hasara. Hii
Mm.
kaipeana kwa sababu najua yeye irudi isirudi, lakini kama hili fungu la jenzia ambao ndio wasumbufu katika hili taifa watatulia, basi probability yangu ya kuweza kupita ipo. Lakini hata kama nitaangushwa, naweza tumia hii kama kigezo haswa, kwa sababu jamani, nilifanya kampeni, nilikaa na vijana Kenya nzima, nikazunguka, kwa hivyo kijana walini backup.
Mm.
Kwa hivyo akaficha goli la mkono kule
Mm.
twendako, kama tutafika katika mahakama. So atapeana hizi evidence hii, wote wajumbe amekuja nao, amefanya nao state house, so it's like it's a trap. Kwa hivyo kwa kweli ni kinyaa kwangu, na laani haswa Nyota Fund, na haina faida wala haitamfanya yoyote awe mwanabilionea, hata kama hataki asitake. Hii kitu haitamfanya haswa kijana abadilishe maisha yake, kwa sababu
Mm.
tunajua hela ilivyo.
Okay.
Na pili, Gachagua alituonya hapo akasema, hii hela ukipewa hii, kimbia sokoni ukale.
Asante sana, bado ndaongea na wewe hebu kuna, kwa sababu umeleta hoja ingine hapa ambapo inafaa sisi tuzungumzie. Miguda, as a young person, because there's something that the trend now we are seeing, especially from the government. Remember, it started with the empowerment of the women. And we used to see so many choppers going across the country. Kindiki was the head of that. We had Farouk Kibet and some legislators. And we even saw some members of parliament who in their entire life, I'll be very specific. For instance, the first time I saw Mbadi giving out 1 million, it was in Kapsaret when Sudi was giving out those empowerment machines. So that was the first time I saw Mbadi giving 1 million, especially in an event, which he has not done ever since I started to follow his political career. And now you come to the youths, and the youths themselves, those who are very good influencers in TikTok and everywhere, those who have very good following, you find that these are the same people that are being used, or that are being used, let's say that used in terms of the channels of where some of the leaders are using to voice their campaigns on what they are doing and the money that they're giving out. And they're the same people that we say that we want to change this country. Miguda, how can that one happen if you want change and you're the same person still saying that the change that you want, to give, you're still the person that is also being used for that change? How are the youths, are going to bring this change?
Yeah, change must come with the youth. Change
How?
must come with the young people. This now, I'm saying, they are taking advantage
Mm,
of those youth who are in need. Not
mm,
that they're taking, not that the youth who are poor, but those who are in need. Like I've told you, today where I am, there was a Nyota Fund, but I was somewhere else. I never went there because me, I don't need it. And then there are people who they will go there
mm,
and even fight and injure each other, scrambling for that 22K. So I
mm,
can just say what they are doing right now, they take advantage of the needy youths, the youths who are in need. What they did to Kasmuel Makure,
mm. Go ahead, Miguda. All right, maybe Miguda is still fixing. I was talking
okay, I'm
about the.
saying, can you hear me?
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm
Kindly fix your mic, then you can come back. It will be okay. Talking about that, actually, I don't know how I forgot. There was a video that I was sent from Kisumu of these women who are selling the sodas by the venue where the Nyota Fund was. There were young men who came and just took those sodas, and waliamua kupasua mpaka manini hizo chupa za hawa kina mama ambao walikuwa wanauzia tu wateja soda. Sasa unashindwa, kama ulikuwa umeitwa kwamba unataka kupatiwa pesa ili ujiajiri, lakini unapata mama ambaye amepigania akaleta, yani akuja angalau apate pesa kidogo, alafu unakuwa unamfanyia hivyo. Haikukuwa jambo nzuri sana. Okay, asante sana Msimamo. Tutaendelea na mazungumzo tukisubiri Miguda. Tulikuwa tunaongelea tu ili jambo ambalo liko ODM. Leo Oburu mwenyewe ameongea na ametoa press na ameandika vizuri sana sana, akiongelea juu ya Edwin Sifuna sana sana, kulingana na interview ambayo Sifuna alifanya. Na swali inaibuka hapa kwa sababu kwa Jaramogi, Ruth ni kama anaenda na Sifuna, Oburu ako kwa njia yake. Ikafika mpaka saizi wanaandikiana barua, kama wewe ni kiongozi wa chama, mbona asiite kikao amwambie bwana, hawa jambo ambalo unafanya si kizuri, ambapo wewe sasa nakuja katika press na wewe ni party leader. Unadhani kauli hiyo ilikuwa mzuri kwake ama ilikuwa ni sahihi?
kaka, ni vigumu sana ndugu yangu kuilazimisha mbuzi kunywa maji, lakini rahisi mno kuifikisha mtoni. Yaani kuifikisha mbuzi mtoni tu. Lakini sidhani ukifika mtoni utaiambia lazima utakunywa maji. Utake ustaki, ni hiari hivyo. Mzee ameshindwa na uongozi, mimi kimtazamo wangu, na ni mzee na mheshimu, lakini kwa kweli kwa maamuzi ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu, mpaka kuja kutokea kwamba sasa yeye yuko ndani ya broad based government, hapo ndo nilijua kwamba ameshindwa na uongozi wa ODM. Mtoto bado ana feeling na legacy ya baba yake, anataka aiendeleze, kwa sababu bado anafika kwamba anaelewa fika kwamba chama cha ODM ni chama cha wanachama wote katika taifa lote la Kenya, si chama cha eneo moja. Nao baba yake mkubwa yeye ameamini kwamba ni chama cha Luo Nyanza. So hata pati zingine kama zifuatilie, lakini already ni chama cha Luo Nyanza. So bado yuko katika ile siasa ya ungome, of which ODM ilikuwa imesurpass hiyo siasa ya ungome. It's like it was a role model to other parties. Walikuwa nafaa kuiga haswa, mbona kimesustain muda mrefu na mbona kimekuwa na mashiko the whole country. Nao yeye ameingia upande huu, so kuja kumweleza ama kukaripia ama kuweza kueleza kwa media ama kwa kuweza kuzungumza, that will not make change, kwa sababu already huyu ashamfikisha kwenye mto, hawezi mlazimisha kunywa maji, ni hiari yake. Akisema anabaki kwa Sifuna ni sawa, kwa sababu ana sababu zake za msingi zinazomwacha akae hapo. So kama kiongozi unamuita chini na wengine pale, mnaambizana taratibu, mnayasuka taratibu. Kama vingine kuna mahali anaenda makosa, basi mnakaa chini hadi likitokea kwa media, basi kuna jambo limefanyika kwamba watu washaelewana, washapeana mikono na wamejua kama wina atakubaliana kurudi upande wao wa broad based government, okay. Kama atakataa pia kubali maamuzi, maana hii ni nchi ya demokrasia.
Asante sana. Miguda, we know the role of a party leader, especially if you're leading a party. You have to play that leadership role. I don't know whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him. If there's an issue and you're a party leader and you're a mediator, would it be prudent for you to call a meeting, and the same thing that I've asked my friend, and see on how to iron these issues, rather than coming to the internet and press to escalate this issue? Um, do you think that is the best way in which to solve these issues, knowing very well that right now, as we are, the Orange Democratic Movement is very fragile in terms of their leadership?
Okay, I want to give you example
Mm,
because I've had a patient,
mm,
a very weak patient, a old patient, and also who was suffering from corona and actually passed away later, 2020. When I had a physician, a
mm,
medical doctor,
mm,
when we before we went to HDIU, then later I had to spend some times in ICU. Then later also we were just so I had to inquire from the physician that
mm,
I've been here, the patient is not eating. What you are doing is just to stabilize the patient. Then he was very frank to me. He was an Asian doctor and told me, Miguda, what we are doing with your patient, we cannot handle the situation right now.
mm.
We are just stabilize him,
Yeah.
just stabilize him each and every morning. So
Mm,
at times I left the ward. In 2 days' time, I was called and told that my patient has passed away. And I was very much contented with the call because earlier I knew they were just stabilizing the patient, but
mm,
there was no life in the
mm,
ICU. There
mm,
was no life after HDIU. There wasn't life. So that experience alone, I want
mm,
to now answer your question.
mm,
Right now, what Miss Mamas just said, Oburu is tired. Oburu is
mm.
just trying to stabilizing that because you have asked me about a leader, a political leader, a general. The general is down. What the people who are running his account or who
Mhm,
are running him, they are
mhm,
telling us that they are stabilizing the situations and circumstances. That let us wait until we reach 2027 with this our patient. Because when Sifuna spoke, it was very clear. Now, it might not even be Oburu running the account. Somebody want to stabilize the situation is just
yeah.
trying to tell people, okay, I'm the party leader. What Sifuna said is no views, blah,
Mm,
blah, blah, blah. But the
mhm,
real situation here is they are stabilizing their leader. The leader is not strong.
mhm,
The leader is weak. The general is down. The general cannot march from front. The general cannot lead the troops from front. That's the
mhm,
reality. So I just want to conclude by saying, according to me, as a leader, look at Raila's stature, look at
mhm,
Ruto's stature, look at
yeah.
Gashagwa's stature, look at
Mhm,
Uru's stature. Uru Dinga is quite different from that leadership called ODM. So that's the real
mhm,
uh, that's the real situation.
mm.
So we have just to live the reality that Oburu is not fit to
Okay.
lead
Oh,
our
okay.
country.
Before you wind up, do you think at the time of maybe him writing this letter and posting it, maybe there was no legal mind, especially to advise him, especially on how to do the letter, because it's talking about even the process of how Edwin Sifuna was elected to that position, and bearing in mind that everybody now know the process, especially the process by which he became the party leader was flawed as per what it should be done, because there should be a special NDC from what is happening. That is something that they should have done, because like even if you read their constitution, say that on how, at what point do you have to, for party leader, actually, for party leader, it has to be a NDC. Other post, it has to be appointed. It was very specific about the party leader, but other post is very silent on what should happen, especially when you're electing party leader. And the procedure and the process has been questioned, not even once. Winnie questioned it, Sifuna too, and there was another lady also who questioned that. And even the constitution of the party was read. Do you think somebody did not advise on the same while before writing this and posting it? Because like there are questions that people are now asking, because like people think that okay, you put Safuna on the spot, and again people are asking the process of your installation.
Okay, I got your question. Very good question. And also, remember, Sifuna also was very specific on legalities issues. And when you respond to Sifuna, by also forgetting that you were supposed to be confirmed by NDC, even your process is in question, and you are questioning the position of the SG. I agree with you that there was no better person to advise them on the writing of the letter. At the same time, I can also give them a benefit of doubt that letters can be written by anybody. Letters can be written by any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Even technologies do write letters. Even you can command an AI to respond to Sifuna Tura letter. That's why I was saying the handlers of Oburu Odinga, the person who wrote whatever, they are just trying to stabilize the situation no matter what they are writing. They don't
Mm,
care. Just
yeah.
that let us stabilize the leader for the
Mm.
sake of the war. We cannot go to a war with a weak general. We cannot go to a war with a general who is down. There are many troops who are better off to be generals. That one must be understood.
All right. Oh, okay. Thank you. You know, even though I'm not so much into hey Ben, thank you so much. How are you doing? Okush, I hope you're doing good. And I'm not so much into ODM, but I was just weighing out. I'm weighing options here. Makobura, I know you were there. We will give you a chance and at least share with us how your day has been. You know, when you look at what you talk about, especially between you say that between 2028 um, 2018 when Sifuna was appointed, I think so, and was ratified by by the NDC. You know the process, but does he admit? And you've talked about it. Does he admit that sometimes you can be appointed, but you can work for a period of time, and then at some point you can be ratified by NDC? That is when you can become a leader. So until now, from the way he wrote the letter, it seems that he has accepted that is a party leader in acting capacity. I'm just asking.
Okay, that's the reality because the constitution is very clear
Yeah.
on how someone becomes a party leader. That's
Mm,
why the late general was always seen in NDC. It was about let us go and have an NDC at
mm,
Kasarani Gymnasium. From that point is when he remained relevant as the party leader until he demise. What I'm saying is that it is true. Oburu Odinga is in acting capacity. They are questioning that who made Sifuna SG, through which process did Sifuna become an SG. It's the same process he was made. The same process he became the party leader of ODM in acting capacity. What we call the transition period. So he was there just for. In fact, Oburu could have just be a party leader to,
mm,
to, to allow transition to take effective. He
mm,
was supposed to be there for the transitional purposes, then later hand over the party leader
mm,
to the person who is fit to carry out the mantle. But I'm telling you, there's a problem with the handlers of Oburu Odinga. There's
mm,
some reality. I have my friends also from abroad, outside
mm,
this country.
mm,
Sometimes they are inquiring from me about the politics of the Kenya.
mhm,
And when I sometimes when I switch on my Wi-Fi or my data bundles, I found messages on WhatsApp. Already they're sharing with me some photos of Oburu Odinga in podium, some photos of Oburu Odinga very weak, traveling up. They are asking me questions.
mm,
Why, why this to this old man? This, and they are very specific. This old man should take a rest. This old man should be at home right now. And those are Luos who are in abroad. So I have not even shared with them, but already they have information that they're taking from those shots. They
mm,
are sending it on my WhatsApp that Miguda, tell Mzee to take a rest. It's not
mm,
the right time for him to do these things. So there is reality in life, and
mm,
there's also perception. So are you going to live the reality or perception? And that's what I'm telling you, the handlers. You
mm,
know, some people can drive you crazy, even if you are dying, they
mm,
don't care because they are serving their own interest. So I think NDC
mm,
should be there, but
mm,
Oburu specifically from my own view and
mm,
opinion,
mm,
Oburu should have just taken a mantle to
mm.
allow transition to be effective.
Okay, because like before I'm almost giving my copy, because if you read that constitution of ODM, it allows especially the SG positions and other parties to be appointed, or you know, but when it comes to the leadership of the party, the constitution is very explicit and says when such arises, and they give especially very clear when the party dies or he cannot fill his mandate or he has resigned or all that, the special um, um, we call it the special NDC should be called, and this one will confirm the party leader. So as we look at it and looking at all that explicit, especially in ODM constitution as it stands, to me, I still agree that Oburu Odinga is in acting capacity. He has not been given the mandate to be the party leader of ODM. He's still in under capacity. If you read that ODM constitution, and the process by which he was also installed um, also maybe went against the constitution of ODM. Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. Makobura, how are you doing? Makobura, habari gani?
Yes, good evening. Kindly let me know if I'm clear.
Very much clear.
Okay, thank you so much. First, allow me to okay, sawa. Allow me to say hi to good friends, those watching us, and of course those in the panel list. Starting with Msimamo. Thank you so much, Msimamo, for finding time to join the panelist. Miguda, thank you so much for also finding time. And of course, to the host, Brother Benson, we appreciate. On the comment section, allow me to just acknowledge the presence of. So, thank you so much, Goody. I've seen that. Thank you so much for also finding time to be with us and, of course, engaging us at the comment section. Allow me to also acknowledge Nazaha. Thank you so much for finding time. There is Actuary Okush. Thank you so much for also finding time to be with us. I can see our good friend Paulo. Paulo, asante sana. Msema ukweli naye pia ako hapa. Asante sana msema ukweli. Vile nimeona nani tena na wale ambao wamejiunga nasi jioni hii ya leo. Acha nichukue fursa hii niwakumbushe ya kwamba this is Brother Benson Media, and of course over here we do say that your opinion counts. If you are watching for the first time, we request you to kindly just like, and if you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa, of course, asante. Thank you so much. And maybe before I get into the other questions that wanted to bring forth, allow me to just give Migoda this opportunity and a brief to in short, Migude, you can just give me some few questions that you given your views. I give a general view and then I come with a few questions that I have. Miguda. Miguda, if you're
Okay,
there.
okay. Amia, first, be deal with the issue of, we have discussed the issue of Nyota Fund, and why is that the president has taken the center stage as if it is something that has come from his own pocket. And we all know that it's a World Bank project across the Africa, some parts of the African countries, which we cited the Benin. We have discussed the issue of youths, young people who are coming to take from the old guards. Are they going to transform the country? We have talked about the issue of people being conned and people being taken abroad to work, but in the real sense, it's not there. And also the issue of voters, whereby the people who are in the lower cadre, they tend to actually take handouts from politicians and make the decision based on the handout. And we have also tackled the issue of ODM, whereby Oburu had to respond to SG, and in the response is like it's not black and white because it's contradicting the letter. As a person who is experienced, as a person who could be having a very sober legal minds surrounding him. Anyway, you can share your views on those issues as we make progress.
Okay, thank you so much. I didn't really get your voice was a little bit low. I don't know whether it's on my side or what. I didn't get the full question that you had.
But you could have,
And partly ni kama nasikia some few breaking, so I don't know whether it's my
you
internet that is
could
having
have
a
you
problem.
could have asked me to be loud. Why were you quiet?
I don't know, maybe msimamo you can also confirm. I don't know whether ni mimi side yangu nasikia kama ameguda na break ama ni net yangu ama ni ya nani. Because I think good day is also saying that I don't hear Meguda. So I think it's just not. I was a little bit quiet thinking it was my internet Meguda, but maybe you can just come up again kindly. I was hearing you
Okay,
breaking, so I was thinking it was on my side.
okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Marco
Yes,
Bura, can you hear me?
you're now clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
If I'm not clear, kindly let me know. Don't allow me to speak until I finish. Then you inform me immediately if am not clear. I was saying, and I'm very clear. If I'm not clear, inform me in right time. I'm saying we have discussed a variety of issues. First, we have discussed about the issue of Nyota Fund, and we have discussed about why is it that World Bank has distributed across Africa, but the president has taken it as if it is his own project, Nyota Fund. Now everything has stopped. Is now on Nyota Fund. Nyota Fund. We have discussed that one. We have also aired our views on the young people. How are they going to take leadership from the whole guard? How are they going to have different opinion, different ideologies? We have also discussed the issue of the people on the lower cadre. You find them that most of time they're taking handouts and they're voting leaders based on the handout. That with them, they don't care who is working, who is not working. They don't care who is a leader, who's not a leader. What they're caring about is handouts. How are we going to transform the country so that people cannot take handouts? Lastly, we are now on the issue of ODM. The response by Oburu Odinga, which is contrary to the views of the leader, why he was not properly advised and is supposed to be having a very sober legal minds. Why was the letter look like written by any other things? Anyway, you can air your views as we make progress.
Okay, thank you so much. If some can let you know so that if on the issue of Nyota Fund and the World Bank has a responsibility, of course, assisting the world or the nations in financial matters based on the need or the preferences of the people. or the state. So I want to say that whenever the World Bank makes decisions on certain issues, of course, in matters of supporting nations, the nation's leadership needs to come forth and make the right decisions in assisting the World Bank in implementing what they are implementing. What we've always witnessed is we've witnessed situations where World Bank is coming to give out certain support, but then this support is being redirected to some other things by the state leadership, something that is not really being received by the people on the ground. Whenever this rechanneling is done, you find that the intended reason why the money was given is not really achieved. This has always been a challenge. If we've seen so many times World Bank coming to assist, to even give loans, but these loans have not always been used in the right manner. Actually, I can say that the support that nations have been receiving from the World Bank, most of it has been squandered. We've seen so many scandals of money given by the World Bank, and there's no verification on how the money has been used. And this is not a good way, of course, because we've had a leadership that is not really, truthful in matters of transparency. And whenever you see a leadership that is not transparent, automatically you will have uh, things to do with corruptions here and there, something which is not really right. So I can say that the main intentions that we've always seen, the reasons why these monies or support are coming is because there are specific needs. They give this particular support based on what is really happening on the ground, based on the results or the data that has been gotten from the ground. So when the government then rechannels or use it in other things, then it loses the whole purpose. It is so wrong that we have a leadership or a government in place, a government, of course, that promised the people of Kenya certain or quite a number of things, a government that had an agenda, but today the agenda is not being followed. They have diverted in things which are really not necessary, things which are not really assisting the people. And this is contrary to the wishes and, of course, the promises they gave the people of Kenya. What I can say is that the president has serious things to do. This issue of walking around the country giving people nyota that is, they are giving few selected. I hear they don't give people with diploma or degree. I don't know how true that is. That money is not really going to assist the people. If you give a Kenyan today, a youth today, 20,000 to start a business, there is no business that can be started by 20,000 until it gets to the position where the business can sustain itself, and of course profit be gotten out of it. I'm not saying it is bad, it is too little, it's a small amount of money, which best, if you compare the economy and the status of the economy and the circumstances, then you will really know that 20,000 in this Kenya or in these times that we are living, there is no any serious business that can be started with it until it assists the people. Something else that you asked about is we've seen leaders giving or bribing the people. This has always been a challenge. We are even seeing it currently. This government is bribing both political class and even the people because they are seeking for a re-election in 2027. This issue of Nyota, just like I've said, it is something that should not make the president to be moving around the country going to, to issue 20,000 to Kenyan youths. That should be a serious shame. This is something that should be done by the local MCAs, not the president. And he's doing that because he knows very well that he has lost focus. He's doing this as a way of trying to interact with people on the ground because he has an intention of being accepted or being given the second chance as the president in the coming days. So all these supports that we've always seen in the republic, leaders do give support based on their personal interest. They give support only if they want something from the people. Remember the few days when the young people were going for the demonstration. At that particular moment, they did not really know that election was coming. And that is why you saw a group of leaders condemning and also using bad language, talking negative about the citizen and also the young people. That is why you saw leaders elected and nominated giving or taking a lot of keen interest on their lifestyle and their greediness, forgetting about the people. And that is why the young people went to the street as a way of reminding them their responsibility and the promises they gave the people. So all these behaviors of bribing people is not right. It should be stopped, because if it is not stopped, it is the people, it is the citizens who are being misused. Ni wananchi ndio wanaumia, na wakiumia hivyo basi, uh, we will have a frustrated generation. We will have a generation or a citizen that is not that do not care about certain things. And remember, when you have a citizen or a generation that do not care about matters of leadership and of course how governments are run, then automatically there's nothing positive that you can get out of that particular generation. So it is upon the government to use all the measures they have, if truly they care about the future of this country, to ensure that they make the right decisions. Of course, decisions which are going to make the young people, the generation, to know that they are they exist and that they are respected, and that of course their views are also being incorporated in the governing of the country. You said something about Dr. Buru. And of course ODM, if I'm not wrong. Dr. Buru, if I saw today they wrote he that there was a press release from the party leader, and of course they're trying to excuse themselves from the comments of Sifuna. But me, I can say I watched Sifuna. All the comments of Sifuna are things which are true, and they're backed by, of course, the constitution of the ODM and the clarification he had. I was reading or going through that rebuttal by the party leader, but I did not see anything making sense, because there was no any serious clarification on the matters that Sifuna had clarified. What they were doing is trying to protect their image, forgetting that the people of Kenya, or the supporters, the real supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga, the late, and the ODM party, still knows and understands. If the Secretary General of the party is saying that they do not have, or is not aware that money that has been used to do this Linda ground thing, he doesn't know where it's coming. He is not aware, and probably is supposed to know. In a situation that he does not know, the truth of the matter is all those funding that ODM is currently receiving in rebranding and all those kind of things are being sponsored by someone else. And the question here is, who is that person who is sponsoring that? And what interest do they really have in that particular party? Those are the questions that are coming forth. But again, it all depends on the truthful people who are really standing, or who knows what is right in terms of standing by the realities and standing by the views or the grounds that the ODM party was formed. The other question you asked is what was the other? Niguda, kindly remind me on one that I've not given my view on.
The issue of the young people taking leadership role, and also the issue of handout. People vote on handout. People don't care whom they are electing.
Yeah, that is so bad. But again, remember, the political class has made the environment a little bit toxic. They have made the environment a little bit tough for the young people to operate and to also survive. So what is currently happening is that as much as the young people wants to make the right decision, it is becoming a little bit tough for them to make the right decisions, because the environment is not safe in terms of how they can survive. The economy is not doing well. The economy is not doing well, and the promises that were given, of course, by the government are also not being materialized. They are not being implemented. So you find that young people have gone, majority of young people have gone to school, they have studied, but there are no job opportunities. When they get to the business side, they do not have the money to start the businesses. What we are seeing is few of them being selected and being given 20,000 in the name of Nyota. And this 20,000, the president is moving around. Instead of creating 20 million for young people so that they can all start businesses, he's waiting for money that has come from World Bank and is moving around in the name of Nyota, giving young people. Instead of doing this in a genuine way, he's doing this as a way of campaigning. And this is wrong because this is taking advantage of the vulnerable because they have created the vulnerable, the environment to be tough. They've made the environment tough, and the people in the environment do not have an option. Now they're taking that advantage. That is why you're seeing people being bribed. That is why you're even seeing a huge number of young people getting into goonism. Some of them are being used by the political class. Look at those that are always following Rigathi Gachagua. Look at those who are following those people who are, contradicting the government. Not once we saw even some governors were using goons to, just to make their opponents not feel safe. All these things the youths are doing not because they want to. All these things the youths are doing not because it is the good thing for them to do. But again, they are adults, they have no other way of surviving. So most of them, if fail to make the right decisions in matters of how they are running their lives because the pressure is too much. The pressure to survive, the pressure to provide for the family, the pressure to just make ends meet is not easy for them. So most of them are actually getting into depression. Most of them are actually getting into activities which are not really their wishes, but based on the fact that the environment is not safe and there are no alternative for them to survive. That is why we are seeing a huge number of young people getting into theft, a huge number of them getting into drugs. Currently in the Republic of Kenya, there's a high number of depression rates, mental problem. People are suffering mentally just because the environment is not really productive enough to accommodate them. The environment is not really productive enough to ensure that their mental well-being is safe. So they have no alternative but to get into activities which are not right. They have no otherwise but just to involve themselves in things which are illegal for them to survive. I would give you examples. Some people are even facing it so tough when it comes to in their quest for getting education. Most of them are finding it so tough because they spend a lot of money going through the primary school, they spend a lot of money going through the college schools, tertiary levels, and then some of them even sell land or their properties for them to get educated. Once they've graduated with the expectation of getting an employment to repay whatever they sold, it becomes tough for them to an extent that the only option they then have is getting into activities which are illegal because at the end of the day, these people have to survive. For them to survive, then some of them are getting or associating themselves with illegal things. So I wouldn't say that young people are happy when they're getting into these illegal activities, when they're being paid by the political class to disrupt or to become goons. It is not their wish. It is because the environment has made it a little bit tough for them to survive and they have no alternative but, of course, to survive. I personally, of course, do condemn these activities of young people being bribed to make decisions because, of course, you know that whenever you are bribed, automatically you will not make the right decisions. At the moment you don't make the right decisions, you will make, the suffering or the outcome of that results, or let me say the results of that bad decision would automatically come back to you and would make you not feel good. So the political class are misusing the young people. The political class are misusing the best or the good brains amongst the youths, and the political class has also made it look like the only uh, it is if you know the thinking out here. Let me give you an example. We have quite a number of people running to get into these leadership positions. We have quite a number of people running to become members of parliament, whichever, all these elective positions. But most of them are not actually leaders. What happens is that you find that some people are going either running away from being they're running away from investigations, either from EACC and all those kind of things. Some of them are drug or people who do illegal things. So once they've done illegal things, get the money, they tend to look for political positions as a way of protecting them. That is why we have quite a number of leaders, but these leaders cannot make the right decisions because they are not leaders. What happens is that they reign, walienda wakajificha kwa all these positions, so they cannot make the right decisions which can be used to run this country. That is why we are seeing a struggling parliament. That is why the parliament is struggling to make the right decisions, to do representation, to make laws. It is because majority of them are not leaders. Most of them bribe their way. Most of them either, let me just put it that way, they stole their way. They bribed to get into those positions. And so in their entirety, their mindset, they do not understand something to do with leadership. They do not understand something or the feelings of the citizens. That is why you saw members of parliament after the Gen Z's demonstration, and some of them were killed. You could see some members of parliament coming out to say that we move on, we forget that some of them were killed, and we move on. And remember, these are people who also have kids. If you try to follow up, you'll find that these are people, because they've amassed wealth, gotten into corrupt dealings, and so they feel that they have money and they cannot be told anything. They do not even have emotions for the people who are killed, instead of them as leaders coming out to even say sorry to the families who lost their loved one. What is it that they're doing? They're coming out to laugh. So it's not easy. But again, this narrative or this situation that we are currently facing, if the people of Kenya did not stand up to stop the behavior that we are currently seeing amongst the political or the ruling class, where today we've gotten to a point where political rallies are being taken to state house, and you can't question those behaviors are happening over there in Uganda and in Tanzania. If you don't stand up today and say that it is not right, it is not the right way to deal with the situations happening in the country. So it's not. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I was saying that it's so unfair that we are having a ruling class that do not care about the constitution, do not respect the constitution of the Republic of Kenya. We've seen instances where, for example, the other day we saw UDA candidates going to State House. State House is a symbol of national unity. It is not right to see political party leaders or party meetings are being held within the State House. We saw the other day in Uganda, um, a chief justice being sworn in at a private home of the president of Uganda. If you don't come up today and talk about all these things, then we'll get to a point where Kenya is going to get into that deep hole that Uganda is currently in. If you don't speak about or remind the president that we have a constitution that has to be respected, that party activities should be handled within the party headquarters, then we will get to a point where all activities of the UDA party will be done within the state house. And the question that we'll be having or asking ourselves is, these people will start thinking that state house is their home or their political party headquarters. And that is how things to do with democracy will then fade away. The democracy dictates that, all these activities which are personal, because UDAs, they have their own affairs. Their activities should be handled outside the state house. State house, and the virtue that it's the state house of the Republic of Kenya is, it's a special place where special activities regarding the country are supposed to be done, not issues to do. We have quite a number of political parties. If all political parties then start going to state house to held or to hold their rallies or meetings, which kind of country will we have? We are seeing those behaviors happening in Uganda. Uganda, you find that all activities of the NRM are all being done within the state house. And nobody is criticizing because that government has ensured that they have silenced all the opposition leaders. That activity or that behavior is coming or cropping in into Kenya. If we don't stop or speak about all these things, then we'll get into problems. Today, we are seeing government buying all political class, the political leaders. We are seeing political parties being bought. And the question we are asking is, until when? Until when? If all political parties have been bought, who then are going to remain in the opposition? If all the opposition leaders are being harassed, being, tear gassed, even in churches, which kind of country are we getting into? Kenya has gone, Kenya has made quite a lot in terms of maturity of democracy. People died in the quest of looking for democracy. People died in the quest for looking for multipartism. People died looking for the freedom, the rights, the struggles. The other people, young Gen Zs, died because they were looking for their freedom. If these freedoms are not protected, and some leaders then start taking us back, forgetting that people died and there's a lot that went through, then I don't think we are moving, making progress. We have to stand up as a people and ensure that whenever a leader, whether in the government or opposition, does something bad, we have to come out and say that this is bad, we cannot support. In a similar way, those in opposition, whenever they mess or they do something that is not right, we have the right as a people to come out and tell them that this is not right. This is not the plans that the people of Kenya have. These are not the struggles that the people of Kenya fought for, Then the young people also needs to stand up. It is not easy for them to survive, yes, but again, they have to make serious, hard decisions. They have to stop being bribed by the political class. Yes, the situation is tough. Yes, the status is not good. But whenever you make decision based on the bribes, whenever you allow a politician to bribe you, it is your future that is being affected. It is your future that is being played with. Let us make critical decisions. Let us not support people who are drug dealers. Let us not support people who are gold, whatever. Because we are seeing quite a number of them coming in. And they are the ones who have money. They're the ones who are giving youths 1,000, and giving them instructions that you're not supposed to allow their opponents to come. It is not right. The youths have to wake up and make that difficult or those difficult decisions. Stop accepting bribes. It is going to affect your future. It is going to affect the future of your children. Goodia is saying here that State House should not be used as a campaign hub. Everything happening in Uganda and Tanzania has reached Kenya. It is the truth of the matter. Ugandan oppositions cannot speak. They are always on run. The security apparatus are always following up on them. Some of them are being charged of things which are not there. Treason. What is treason? The Raila swore himself here the other day. He was not taken to court as, he was not tried with those treason thing. Look at Uganda, look at Tanzania. A candidate saying that I'm not going to go through this election is being taken through and told that he's being tried on treason. Which kind of behaviors are those? And that is where we are headed as a Republic of Kenya. If you don't speak about matters affecting our country, if you don't speak against the immoralities and the bad behaviors and lack of respect to the rights as stated in the constitution that is currently in operation, the one promulgated in 2010, people died for it to come. Look at or remember the 2007 2008 general election disputes. People died, and out of that, part of the constitution came. That has to be respected. So, yeah, so I know it's not easy, but again, we'll have to accept these kind of realities. It is so painful that Kenya is headed on the wrong direction. It is so sad to see, and we will never get away from it unless we change the government. I agree with you, Goodyear. Unless we change the government, it is not going to be easy for us as a people. And that is why I'm saying that the youths have to make the toughest decisions and ensure that, they are compliant, and of course, they respect the views. Their views has to be respected. The democracy dictates that it should be a government of the people and for the people. A government that is listening to the people, number one, running the country as per the wishes of the people and all those kind of things. So it is my urge, of course, to the young people that the zoning and all these UDA, ODM things, these are just stories that are being used to make the people to lose the way. So it is upon the people of Kenya to make the right decision and ensure that they stand firm, and of course with the positivity, and of course with the beliefs that it is not easy. Country or countries do go through a lot for them to survive. The economy of this country depends on the future. I mean, on the decisions that will be made in 2027. Some of the decisions they have started, the political class have started making them today. If we don't chip in and give our views, then they will make decisions which are not going to assist us as a people. So it is upon the people of Kenya to stand firm and, of course, to remind each other of where we've come from as a people and where we're headed as a people. It is the only way. I think those would be my remarks this evening. I can see I'm alone here and our friends have dropped. So I wouldn't really go for long. And I want to take this opportunity to just appreciate everyone who joined us and to remind you that this is our country. Let us fight for our country and ensure that the future of this country gets to where our forefathers dreamt about, what the plans that they had and all those kind of things. Some of them might not be around, some of them are actually dead, but we have a responsibility of ensuring that the dreams they had for the Republic of Kenya are met and that they are respected, so that if the generation that is coming would come and find a country that is okay, a country that is nice for them to live. Those would be my last remarks. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate everyone who joined us today. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. Maybe to mention there are few names. Thank you so much. A good year for being consistent. Thank you so much. We really appreciate, and have a good weekend. And everyone else who joined us, we really appreciate. May God bless you. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, from wherever you're watching us from. Bye bye, and God bless you.